Substance abuse is a major social menace that is affecting our families, the community, and of course, the society at large. In fact, it's a growing concern to see a lot of young people into substance abuse. Today on the show, we're bringing to you a very important interview we had with John Olusegun, a licensed clinical psychologist and a certified addiction specialist. He'll be telling us what exactly is substance abuse and, of course, highlighting how to manage our friends, our loved ones who are dealing with substance abuse. You will agree with me that a lot of very beautiful minds, you know, with dreams and aspirations have drifted away as a result of being addicted to one substance or the other. And of course, on the show today, we'll also bring you an interesting report on hypertension. When was the last time you checked your blood pressure? It's very important that you always check up on yourself. Medical checkup cannot be overemphasized. The importance of medical checkup cannot be overemphasized. Plus, our regular Dr. Love series. This week on Dr. Love series, we'll be talking to us about eating habits. All of these and more on this week's edition of Health Watch. My name is Nkem or Kibi. I am your regular host on the program. We'll go on a short break. When we return, first in our lineup is Dr. Love series. Stay with us.
Kedu Odima Ekason Nakwana. Let's make it more entertaining. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Love, also known as Dr. Yusuf Ademola Harun, the CEO and founder of Love for Health organization. And today we are going to talk about eating habits. Have you heard of this common saying that you are what you eat? That is true, absolutely. I will also let you know that 90% of medical conditions around the world, especially in Lagos and Nigeria, is due to feeding and eating habits. Poor eating habits affects our lifestyle. Do we want to talk about diabetes, excessive intake of fatty foods, excessive intake of sugary food, excessive intake of carbonated and frizzy drinks? Or want to talk about hypertension, excessive intake of salty food, excessive intake of fried things, excessive intake of even fatty meals? All these affects our heart, leading to hypercholesterolemia, hyperglycemia, and even developing hypertension, which later complicates into hypertensive heart disease. We also have high blood sugar, which complicates into type 2 diabetes. We have lots of effects that affects us based on our eating habit. Do you also know that even excessive intake of fruits and vegetables, which are good for our body, can also be deleterious to our health? Also, we should always try to balance our food. Avoid excessive intake of food. Avoid drinking alcohol. Avoid smoking. And avoid anything that can harm you. These are things that affect our health and they tell towards a later time. Thank you very much. I'm Doctor We Love You and we always love you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Love. I'm always very excited to watch this segment, and I'm sure that we learned a lot on, especially when he said, you are what you eat. So you really need to take care of yourself, be in control of what you eat, all right, to ensure that you maintain a healthy lifestyle. Moving on, let's join this very enlightening interview with John Olusegun, a licensed clinical psychologist and a certified addiction specialist, as he talks to us on substance abuse. Let's see this together. We'll be right back.
When we talk about substance abuse, is similarly talking about people using some kind of chemicals, or let me say drugs, largely out of prescription or out of what is meant to do. And sometimes they use more of it, or frequently more than they should use it, or even when it is not needed at all, or using it to cope with normal day activity that they could have coped with without using that drug. In our own world, we say that is a problematic use of substance that is largely characterized with compulsion to get it and to use it, despite having harmful effect on them. They just keep going back to it. So that's what we refer to as substance abuse. Yeah, I can say that the country is in a state of emergency for drug use right now. Different types is coming up, starting from the usual one that we used to know then, something like cannabis, the regular Ido or something like that. People will say, don't be like this person or something like that. Even alcohol, so to say, it is widely accepted, but it is also a substance that, when it touches the brain, it changes certain activity of the brain, it alters the mood, alters the behavior. We are beginning to see more like different variant of cannabis. Something like loud is a synthetic cannabis that a lot of people will use to alter or to give them some kind of high, so to say. We've seen people use Colorado or something like that, which is also a synthetic cannabis as well. Interestingly, this thing can even be smoked under your roof and you won't even know. Sometimes they don't smell like the typical cannabis that you know about. We have a lot of them. We have ice. Like some of people would also say, you want to stay awake, you don't want anything, they'll take it. And you see people go into prescription, what they call it, drugs. Something like tramadol, opioids. You see some people even use injection, shoot themselves. People are moving away from heroin or cocaine and things like that. And we have a lot of them. One thing about all of these substances is that when people use them, they might start from maybe just using just a little. Then you see them graduating to using more. Their life now revolves around the use. They are recovering from the use. Then they are looking for money to get what they are going to use and use again. So the cycle continues in that angle, and a lot of things are impaired. Work, school, relationships, and the like. So the list go on. In party now, they will even be nailing some things from balloon, and you are asking, what is that about? but it is substance somewhere inside. So some of them you know the name, some of them you don't know the name. But anything that is altering people's feeling, you don't just change your feeling to highness without touching somewhere on the brain. And that is what we refer to as psychoactive substances. Drug affect one very important area of the brain, and that is the frontal cortex. That is the decision-making part. Is the one that is capable of rational thinking and the like. So if someone use substances for whatever reasons, the ability to make the right call, the right judgment is eroded. In turn, it will be giving the person poor decisions. That's why you see the person borrow money more than usual, see the person get into trouble here and there, which create more problem, stress for them. So they are trying to cope with stress with it. Meanwhile, using it is also creating more stress. That is in terms of their mental health. Also, in the poor decision making, because of that area of the brain that is affected, you see a lot of them going into domestic violence. Yes, after they have drink finish, they enter house. The trouble that they think they have run away from is waiting. So, and the drink is still there. It has inhibited the part of them that can think right. So before you know it, the hand is raised like automatically, and the next thing you see is just here and there. Yes. So you see a lot of domestic violence, abuse to the children, abuse to everybody in the home, and just starting from there is starting from their own. When they now sit down and think about it, a lot of guilt, shame, and the likes come on them. I'm talking about men that I've had to intervene with, in my course of practice. And I can also tell you, in the mental health of men, it promotes addiction. Because addiction is something, it's not just use. Like we're saying before, that not everybody that use will end up having some addiction. However, the use increase your risk to becoming addicted to it. So it promotes that tendencies to want to seek compulsively the substance, and gain tolerance that small one will not do you again until you have to take more than and start adding and mixing, like science students that they'll call themselves. And this is very, very important. In other mental health capacity, you see men coming down with depression, anxiety, and suicidal behaviors. I will tell you that many of the suicide completed by men have an involvement of substance. Check it out. In many of the suicidal completion cases for men, you see that it has involvement of one substance or the other. You must have read about some celebrities that they just found in their tub or OD'd or whatever it is. And by the time you are exploring the case, they'll tell you, oh, this person was having some bankruptcy issue or dealing with something. Substance use have a way of triggering and maintaining some psychological problem like depression and anxiety. And that's one thing I want men to know, because we can't escape from reality. By the time you leave the substance, the reality remains and you are going to face it. So, and also it makes men have low coping resources, because if you have escaped for it for a long time, you would have forgotten how to even deal with issues the way it is. So they lose the basic coping resources that they should have, because they have escaped the reality using substance for a long time. So I've seen also that substance use progress into psychotic behavior, and now I like to close with that. That is with substance use, irrespective of the ones you're using, likely cannabis or whatever it is. Many people come down with psychotic expression. They start seeing things that other people are not seeing, hearing voices that is not there. Oh, they want to come and kill me. Everybody is after me. They will carry machete and put it under their this and that, so that if anybody come, I'm talking about cases I've seen. If anybody come, I don't want to injure anybody. I'm just using that to protect me. How will you keep a new branded machete and you want your wife and children to still stay under the same roof with you? They leave. So they start, having some psychotic expression that required immediate intervention in that process. So quite a lot of mental health issues that come up with substance use. Regarding is there hope? Is there help for these people? And I would say that yes, there's help. For persons with addiction, particularly to substance use, we say that the treatment is usually a biopsychosocial one. Because of the thing that we've had in our environment, some people see it as a character failure or a village people attack. So the first line of this thing is usually we'll go to church or we'll go to mosque or go to all these baba and things like that. See, I'm not an atheist here. We are in Nigeria together. However, this has been proven to be a health situation. And I've seen people get more results using the rehabilitation process. Now, for biological, how do you address someone that is already shouting, maybe saying, I'm seeing someone, or I'm hearing some voices, and you can't hear, you can't see? It's just a show that the drug that the person is using have touched certain part of the brain. And there's no amount of talk at that moment that you can do that can really address that. So the best thing probably what you want to do is for you to involve a clinician, maybe a psychiatrist in this context, to administer some medications to address the psychotic episode to calm down. So if psychotic episodes are addressed, by medications or so, then there are some psychological issues that probably trigger this thing that need to also be addressed. People don't just come down with substance use issue. Maybe they have some disappointment in life that they can't cope with that led them into that place. So all those trauma, abuse that we need to address too, then the psychological part will be taken care of by professionals, psychologists perhaps. Then there is need for social support. The social part is because humans are not cut out to just live by themselves. So sometimes when they come to our clinic, you treat them and you let them out. And the family you have come, you have started again, you have do this again, and we decide to alienate them or stigmatize them. They feel like it is them against the world. So say, what's the essence? Then they go back. And for people that have people around them that have this substance use problem, it's important for you to first recognize that this is an health problem. I mean, you would not stigmatize someone that have hypertension or diabetes. So also, let us not stigmatize them. The assumption that, they are, they are destructive, they are this, maybe we need to adjust that and try and help them to see purpose and meaning with life. As much as possible, we can also help them point out what they are doing right and reinforce what they are doing right. Because I've seen some people going through recovery and they say when they leave after we do the detoxification, we do the psychotherapy and they went back. But even when they were doing things right, people will not see it and recognize it. But if they do one thing wrong and say, you have gone back to smoking, you have done this. Although they might not have gone back to smoking, but because they did that one thing wrong, then they were. But when they were doing certain things right, did we recognize it? Did we reinforce it? Did we celebrate them? So some of this positive support and less stigmatization and bringing them at the right time. Because sometimes we would have gone to Kafancha and Sokoto after putting them for some 4 years with one cleric and whatever it is, and now say, okay, let us come and, sometimes you have made them go through a long duration of untreated psychosis, and you now want the best of results. So much of awareness, we give people idea of how better we can support them. We support them with love, try to understand that they are human and they are separate from the substance. You can still see that person when you take the substance away from them. And I think that support is very, very important.
Very insightful interview there with John Olusegun. Thank you so much for educating us on substance abuse and, of course, how to manage our loved ones, our friends, our colleagues who are being addicted to one substance or the other. For me, I would say that it's the responsibility of all of us. We are all stakeholders in ensuring that we educate our families, our friends, our colleagues, especially the young ones, on the harmful effects of taking any kind of substance. Moving on, we have this interesting segment on hypertension. So the Health Watch crew put together this very interesting report on hypertension. Let's see this together. I'll be right back.
Hypertension, also known as high blood pressure, is a common health issue and can be serious if not managed. It is regarded as a silent killer.
Hypertension medically is a clinical condition where the blood pressure of an individual is above 140/90, and this is when you check the blood pressure of an individual at 3 separate occasions. So if you just check someone's blood pressure, and the good thing is that you can use an electronic SFIG or the manual SFIG. Checking the blood pressure once does not diagnose you of being hypertensive. You must do it at 3 separate occasions. Because the first time you might be going through stress, you might be angry, as you said, and the blood pressure might be high, or you may not have slept well in the night. But on 3 separate occasions, if the blood pressure is consistently above 140/90, some people have even adjusted it. Some say, okay, 130, 138/85, things like that. But if it's consistently high on 3 separate occasions, the individual is termed to be hypertensive. And it is a silent killer again, because you may not have any sign or symptom until the eventuality happens.
There are various causes of hypertension, which could be due to lack of enough sleep, sedentary lifestyle, overweight, stress, genetics, excessive alcohol intake, and a host of others. However, hypertension can be managed.
The first thing in hypertension is to modify your lifestyle, because I talked about modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. So the modifiable risk factors of hypertension, you can modify your lifestyle. Reduce salt intake. If you are diagnosed of hypertension, if you can go into no salt, is better for you. If you want something to taste, there are other natural things you can use. Natural food that you can eat that still tastes good. Number 2, you have to stop or reduce alcohol drinking. I'm not here to stop the breweries that make millions or billions from alcohol, but it's affecting our health. Salt also, excessive salt is affecting the health. Stop smoking. Smoking is also a risk factor to hypertension, and these are major. And that's why I said, because these 3 things now, men are the ones that do it more. Men eat more, and therefore they are eating more salt. Men drink more. Men smoke more, and that's why I said that more men are affected with high blood pressure or hypertension than women. Also, you should try and exercise, particularly to those who have a sedentary lifestyle. You sit down every day doing nothing, you don't exercise. When I say exercise, I don't mean that you should become a macho man or you should go to develop 6 packs or no, but walk. Even walking is a good form of exercise. So I noticed that recently some people are walking, either due to the cost of transportation, that may be a blessing to their health. So many people are riding bicycles now. I noticed that people are buying bicycles and riding. Even there are some delivery companies that they provide bicycles for people to ride. Riding bicycle is also a good form of aerobic exercise, and this can also improve their health. So these are some of the things you can do to improve your health and to reduce the risk.
Hypertension has no cure. Therefore, it is vital to keep watch over your health and seek medical attention when you are unwell.
And this is where we draw the curtains on this week's edition of Health Touch. I know you don't want to go. I also don't want to leave you. But you know how I always say it every week. Health conscious people live longer. You missed any of our episodes, please follow us on Facebook, NTA Lagos Channel 10, to catch up with the past editions, or even on YouTube, NTA Lagos Channel 10. You have questions, you have inquiries, you have some topics that you would love us to treat. Of course, you want to sponsor this program, reach out to us on 0706086587 or send a mail to okibeinkem@gmail.com. A big shout out to my production crew and to my director, Yakin. Thank you so much. And all my production assistants, to the engineering guys, thank you so much for ensuring that we have a bumper package every week. Until we come your way next week, same time, same station. My name is Nkem Okibe. See you then.
Can I see your particulars, sir?
Officer, my particulars no dey here.
In that case, you'll